This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
And the pitch is swung on, hit the right field, hit deep. Whitefield going back at the track, over his head, and over the wall. Do you believe that?
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Ramirez with a drive to deep right, away back, goal!
Hey, it's a bomb out there by the Rocks. And boy, oh boy, this third inning is now showtime.
It is a Judgian blast. All rise. Here comes the judge.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe, from humidors to spin rates to game-changing moments. We have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us next from the town, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of A's Cast Live here on a Monday from the Coliseum as the Chicago Cubs are in town, fresh off a great weekend down at Chavez Ravine against the Los Angeles Dodgers. We've got a fantastic show for you because there still is a buzz here, even though the series against the Mets didn't go so hot. Friday night was awful. Saturday, 2 close games. Obviously, losing in extra innings yesterday. What was the final tally? 2 for 19 with runners in scoring position. I don't have my scorebook in front of me, but I want to say 14 guys left on base. Tons of walks in the end. Was not good. A's lose. Competitive, but they lose and still have a really rough record. But the buzz was about the 1973 team and honoring men who are truly part of one of the greatest dynasties / periods of time in baseball that we have ever seen. We say it ad nauseum, but it's so true. You've had 2 different franchises win 3 straight World Series. You've only had the Yankees. They did it a couple times in the A's. 72, 73, 74. It's truly amazing. And yesterday we honored this second of the 3, where they took down the New York Mets. And so big for these guys. It's like, you win 1 World Series, they call you champion, that's great, but there's always people that go, well, things went your way. When you win a second time, you validate everything, and when you win for a 3rd straight, they start calling you a dynasty. So we got a chance, and I'm going to cherish it. I hope you guys cherish it, that I don't know how many more opportunities we're going to have to interview and to be around these guys. We've lost so many of them. Of course, Captain Sal Bando recently, along with our beloved Ray Fosse. I don't know. We'll have hopefully a 1974 celebration next year. But, some of them, I hate to say it, you've seen that they're not in the same health as they were the last time you saw them. So you just really sit back and enjoy and crank up the highlights and whether it's video or audio. And let's remember the greatness of this A's team and the core of this team and these guys. And we had a chance to sit down with 4 of them. 2 were baseball Hall of Famers. And, of course, Oakland A's Hall of Famers. You think of how great Reggie Jackson was. This is 1973, where Reggie Jackson didn't get to play in the 72 World Series against the Big Red Machine. Well, he not only did he win the MVP in 1973, he'd win the World Series MVP, and this was the start of Mr. October and what he would do for the rest of his career, one of the greatest nicknames in the history of the game. So we're going to start it out. A's Hall of Famer, Joe Rudi, going to be here at 4:15. Joe, a guy that grew up in the Valley, grew up in can't say grew up an A's fan because they weren't around then. They were they would have been in Kansas. Well, they probably would have been in Philadelphia, then Kansas City when he was a kid. Probably would have been in Philadelphia when he was born. But it was a big deal for him because family being in the Central Valley was close. They got to come to a lot of games. And so, these guys coming from Kansas City, young players, this core, grew up in the minor leagues together, come from Kansas City to Oakland, and that's when they started winning. And so many great years for Joe Rudi and his entire family. That's the thing, too, that you really notice when we have these reunions, whether it was 72 last year or 73 this year, is you have these players who some still do, some don't have their wives anymore. And then their kids, well, their kids are not kids anymore. Their kids are in their 50s, right? Their kids are in their 50s or late 40s. So they were just, they were just babies. I mean, they were like me. I mean, 1973, I was 1 year old. So a lot of them, they didn't get to experience, and some have kids that were remember a little bit of it, but they're now all adults with their own kids, and the grandkids are here. So it's really special. Joe Rudi's going to be here at 4:15. One of my all-time favorites. I've said this. I've known him since really the start of my career. I've done television with him. I've done radio with him. And when you think about his career, what he's meant here in the Bay Area, one of the few guys that played well for both teams, played well also for the San Francisco Giants across the Bay. Really, when you talk about an absolute star in his time, back when magazines still mattered, Vida Blue was on the cover of every single magazine. We're just not talking Sports Illustrated. We're talking about, Newsweek and Time Magazine. Vida Blue was an absolute star, and Vida was here for the celebration yesterday. We'll talk to Vida Blue at 4:30. It's always great because Vida's fun. Even at 76 years old, Vida's still a lot of fun, and the memories. And to see Vida Blue, because I don't think Vida had seen Reggie Jackson in a long time. So this was off camera. So after we got done with Vida, Reggie came in, and to see these guys talk to each other was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it seemed like Vida hasn't seen him in a while, and they were catching up and reminiscing, and it was good to see Vida. We saw him. I mean, we just saw him last year, but it was the first time. Well, it was the first time I've ever met Reggie in person. We had Reggie on the program in 2020 when we were playing back all the World Series games, and we had Reggie on. So it's the first time we've talked to Reggie in 3 years. But yeah, seeing everyone that was there it was a great time to see these guys that were legends. I wasn't born when these guys were playing. Their careers are over before the time I was born. I think Reggie was in the last year or two of his career when I was born.
Do you not remember the show that I did with Soup? Why don't you get a headset and come in here? You have a golden ticket anytime you want. Stand right here. Put a headset on him. We have a featured guest, the great Ken Korak, Bay Area Radio Hall of Famer. When we talk about the A's Hall of Fame, someday we will be inducting him into the A's Hall of Fame. Just for now, he's the voice of summer. You technically could go into the A's Hall of Fame now. Broadcasters don't have to be retired to get in to any type of Hall of Fame.
Don't retire me yet, right?
No, you're not even
We have
close.
to get Bill King in the A's Hall of Fame first.
Why don't you guys go in together?
No, I think we should have a separate.
You could be like a
Let's
dual
just let
speech.
Mr. King have his place there, Chris.
How are you?
I don't think I would put myself in his class.
I'm
well, man. I'm well.
You're going to be in the A's Hall of Fame.
It's great to be here. We have baseball today, and the Cubs are in town, and they're playing pretty well. They've got a new club this year almost. I mean, like half their team is new, the Cubs.
And they're interesting because
they are.
Because when we were down at spring training, people were like, are they going to be better than what people think? I mean, with all those new moves, could these guys win some games? Could they shock some people? I mean, everybody wanted to crown the Cardinals already.
Right.
And the Brewers are out to the hot start. Cardinals are off to a bad start. But Chicago, after a very good weekend down at Chavez Ravine, look out. These Cubbies come to town with some confidence.
Well, they've taken 4 of 6 against the American League West so far, too. They beat the Mariners 2 out of 3. They beat Texas 2 out of 3. So, yeah, Patrick Wisdom, who's had a long journey to get to where he is as one of the better power hitters now around in that division. St. Mary's kid.
Yeah.
Hit a 6th home run yesterday, so he's a threat. And yeah, the new guys, and Cody Bellinger had a really interesting return to Dodger Stadium. Robbed a home run the other night, got booed in his old home ballpark, which is pretty rough. But yeah, a lot of changes for their club.
He got a standing ovation, and it was funny. The umpire really blew the moment when they tried to put him on the pitch clock. He hit the big home run yesterday. So Bellinger may not be here for the whole series.
What's going on with him?
About to have a second child.
Oh, really? Okay, good.
Yeah, so I believe.
Good for him.
I don't know if he's here.
I saw him earlier
saw him?
today down by the weight room.
Okay,
I
so
did. I saw him today.
he'll be here today.
Okay.
After that, I don't know because
yeah.
it's a game time decision for him.
Right.
Obviously,
those are important things.
Yes.
Right.
Obviously, the birth of his second child will come first.
Our daughter Emily was born the day of a San Jose State basketball game that I was doing in 1992.
And you missed the birth for San Jose State hoops, right?
And she was born like early in the morning.
Yeah.
The day of a game. The Spartans had a home game. And I was with my wife and daughter for the whole morning and then the rest of the day. And finally, my wife, Denise, said, why don't you just go do the game? I mean,
nothing you can do anymore.
Your job is done, man. So I went and did the game that night.
Yeah, I think about when my kids were born, it was an all-day event. It took forever. I don't even remember I think I took a few days off. It was
I'm sure you
having
did,
twins was pretty dramatic.
That is.
I love these matchups because knowing the history of the Athletics, knowing the history of the Cubs, these are just really two old school franchises, and we really haven't seen it all that much.
You know that the A's played the first World Series game at Wrigley Field.
29.
1929. Series the A's won against the Cubs, and they won that game. But that was the first ever World Series game at Wrigley Field in 29. So, it goes back. We were there in 2019, as you know. And
that was the dual Chicago trip.
Yeah, it was great to spend like 8 days in Chicago. Yeah. The A's lost 2 out of 3 at Wrigley, but it's always fun to go there and do a game. It's just the history is incredible.
Yeah, when you look at Fenway Park and you look at Wrigley Field, now a lot has grown up around those ballparks, but you still get the sense of what the country was like back then when they built these ballparks in these neighborhoods, and the whole neighborhood around the ballpark so different than what ended up happening was they were the original dual facilities. We now think of them as these historic landmarks, but before there was Oakland and Candlestick and Jack Murphy and Three Rivers and Riverfront, we start building places like this for football and baseball. Back in the day, that's what Wrigley was Bears, Cubs, Fenway was Patriots, Red Sox. Those were the old school first dual facilities.
Right. And Wrigley, the Cubs played there the Bears played there for a long time.
Yeah.
Right. Fenway was never a great football park, let's face it.
I think it'd be great to see a game there,
it would be fun to see a game, but it was never a great football park because of the monsters. So there's no seating on that side. But both those parks they've changed over the years, but they haven't too. Because you can imagine what baseball was like in those parks 100 years ago. And because there's a lot that hasn't changed as well. Fenway looks a lot they've built it up. They've put the suites in, and they've built the press box, which is up atop the upper deck now, and they have the monster seats in left field. But a lot of it kind of looks, you still can get that feeling of thinking what it was like for those old time ball players to go out there and play.
No doubt. I mean, when I've been to Fenway quite a bit, been to Wrigley, and really for me, Fenway, because you just think about all the Red Sox, the Yankees, the old Tigers. You think of all the greatest players who have plaques in the Hall of Fame. You can just look out and you're like, wow, Babe Ruth or Ted Williams
or Jimmy Fox.
The greatest players played here.
Right.
This field hasn't changed. I mean, it's pretty spectacular.
There's a tunnel that you walk down from the clubhouse to the dugout onto the field. I don't think that tunnel has changed in 100 years, Chris. I think they may have strengthened it over the years or whatever, brought it up to code or something now that it's 2023. I don't think it's changed a lot.
So you know the history, obviously, of what those A's teams did in 72, 73, 74. I was just saying to the audience that we still have a glow going here, and it's always an honor. Like last year, I got to host the Q&A with the fans in the 72 team. We had them up in the suite yesterday, 73. And we just need to realize that we need to cherish these moments because we're not going to have a lot of them really after what we had yesterday. Hopefully we'll have them back again for 74. We'll see about that. But, we've lost Ray. We lost Sal Bando. Some of them, obviously, I mean, these guys are in their late 70s. Some of them Dick Green, Campy are both in their 80s. I mean, these are the moments, cherish it because these teams, you can't tell the history of baseball without talking about these teams. They're a big part of baseball's timeline.
One of the greatest dynasties of all time, and they could have won 4 or 5 in a row, I think. And if they hadn't, the Catfish thing hadn't happened, I think they likely would have won it in 75. But those guys really appreciate it. It's emotional for them. As you know, we had Darryl Knowles and we had Fingers, had Rollie on in the 3rd and 4th innings yesterday, and you could just tell how much they enjoy and appreciate days like that as well. To spend time with their teammates. There's a poignancy because, as you said, not having Ray and so many of the others who have passed away, Bando, in the last year, but it means a lot to them, and it's just great for us. And I think the A's do that so well, the reunions, and I mean, the fans love it. You could just tell yesterday. There are just so many memories, Chris. And, in 2052, we'll celebrate the 50th anniversary of the winning streak. So that's something for you to look forward to. You'll be doing the show with Commander in 2052, that 50th anniversary.
No chance.
I'll be 60, so I'll be around.
I'll be retired. Yeah, I'll either be dead or I'll be retired playing golf by that point. I've been thinking about that. Wow.
I'll be I don't want to say how old I'll be, but I'll be 100, I think. Something like that.
Well, with your genes, you'll probably be you have a better chance of being there than me.
My dad might be alive.
He's talking about Knowles. I mean, how many games did he pitch in 1973?
He pitched in every game in the World Series. He pitched in 7. The A's only used 8 pitchers in the whole series. He pitched in every game.
And then the next year against the Dodgers, they used 5.
Yeah, and that was a shorter series. It didn't go 7. And Fingers, I think, pitched in 6 games in 73. So, there's 2 people that I always look at when we go back and relive some of those moments that were incredibly underrated, I think, not just in the postseason, but in the annals of baseball and the history of the game. Kenny Holtzman and Campy Campaneris.
Yeah.
The A's, I mean, and we focus on Reggie was the MVP of the series for good reason and all the stars they had, but they don't win those 3 World Series without those 2 other guys. And Holtzman was an incredible big game pitcher. He was 4-1 in the World Series in his career with like a 2.2 ERA or something like that.
And I've only gotten a chance to interview him once. He was fabulous. I know because of health, he's not able to make these, but I got to tell you, I wish we had him around because I got him going. I think I did. I can't remember. It was in Mount Davis years ago. We were honoring him for something. And I had him. I thought I was just doing like a normal 5-6 minute interview. Right. We went like a half hour.
Holtzman.
He's just telling stories. I wish we would have him more. By the way, speaking of a former Cub too.
Yeah, well, he came over for Rick Monday, and that was Rick Monday had an excellent career.
Number 1 pick, and, first ever draft pick.
Yeah, ASU, Santa Monica High, Samo, and but Campy too. Campy had 2 home runs in that ALCS against Baltimore, which is a 5-game series, and I think he was like 9 for 29 or 9 for 31 in the World Series as well. So. Well, you don't win 3 straight unless you've got
a few guys.
You got a few guys who can play, right? And it's really cool. And Darryl Knowles is a great interview too. 60 years in the game, he was telling us.
Oh my God, the amount of appearances!
Yeah, and he was a coach for like 40 years. Yeah. He coached in the big leagues for the Phillies as their pitching coach, and Fingers still plays a lot of golf, looks great. So it's really a special day to see those guys. My buddy played the national anthem yesterday too, which was cool.
Let's end on this. Obviously, this is a tough season. We're not going to sugarcoat it. I talk about it on the A's Clubhouse show after every single game. I have to weave and dodge, and I got the collars coming at me. I'm like a boxer every single.
Right.
I don't fight like every 6 months. I fight every night. But for you,
and you do it well.
Thank you. For you. I think it's a testament that in a bad season, I'll have people come up to me all the time. You hear it from our phone callers after say, hey, no matter what, I'm going to listen in because of Ken Korak.
Well,
that's got to mean a lot.
And my broadcast partner, Vince, I think does a great job too. And he's prepared for every game. We're calling a baseball game tonight, Chris. I mean, it's not like we're sentenced to 3 hours of doing something we don't want to do.
Excuse me, 2 hours and 25 minutes.
Exactly. And when you've had some tough games like the A's have had, the pitch clock, it's not a bad thing. But I still love going to the ballpark and doing a game. So, and I don't focus on what their record is. We'd love to have it be better. Obviously, it makes it more enjoyable for everybody. But like Ernie Harwell said, every game is its own chapter, and you come out and see, let's have a good ball game today. The last 2 games against the Mets were frustrating, but they were good games. And that's what you look for. You want to see competitive baseball, and the grass is green, and we've got baseball today.
So I get notes every single game, and we've got, I mean, you can see I got more stuff. I got every game, every team. We got more information. I can tell you the number one stat so far of the 2023 season, something that you would have ever seen in the last decade, the last X amount of 20, 30 years. It happened yesterday. An hour and 57-minute game at Fenway Park.
Angels and Red Sox.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
How many games have you done there? 340, 410.
Right. Postseason games, too, that were riveting. They had a different story today there because they started late because of rain. They had, I think, a couple of rain delays during the game. It was a travel day for the Angels.
Patriots Day,
the marathon. So today was kind of a slog for them. But, yeah, less than 2 hours yesterday.
Couldn't believe it. 157. We have Joe Rudi ready. So we're throwing it to Joe Rudi here. I got to do Reggie, Vida, Joe Rudi, and who am I forgetting here? Rollie Fingers up in the suites yesterday. We had one-on-ones with them.
Right, every time you get a chance.
I cherish it.
Yeah, you should. It's great.
Because I don't know how many more times.
They're woven into the fabric of this franchise, and it's just so important. So I'm glad you're keeping that alive, Mr. Townsend.
Have a good call tonight.
Thanks, buddy.
Here is A's Hall of Famer Joe Rudi. We're at the Oakland Coliseum to celebrate one of the greatest baseball teams of all time, the 1973 World Series champion Oakland Athletics. We all know this man. He's truly one of the all-time great for the A's, a 3-time World Series champion. And it's always great to have you back on the program. And these moments are so special because we always talk about how when you guys get together, it's just not teammates, it's like brothers.
We really are. It's over the years, I think the A's have been pretty religious about bringing us back. And it's been great to be able to come back, see the guys. Sometimes you don't see them for 10 years or whatever, but it is just like we haven't been apart at all. Everybody's still ribbing each other, getting on each other, and like nothing's changed.
We were in the elevator, and Blue Moon, we were in the wrong suites, and Blue Moon said, we're up there looking for a pitch that Rollie gave up. We're all in the elevator together. So even to this day, these guys are razzing each other. Yep. So we talked to you last year about 1972. Unfortunately, you weren't able to make 70.
One of American Airlines canceled.
But
last minute.
We still did the interview, and we talked about that was your first. What was it now like your second taking on the Mets and now going back to back?
The first time is, you were so enthralled with winning a world championship and everything, and you're just so happy to have it happen. And then you get into that next year, and you almost want to reprove that it wasn't by accident.
Yeah.
It was. We do have a good team. We're capable of winning it again. I think a lot of us got off to a little bit of a slow start in '73, especially hitters, and we were very blessed first year of the designated hitter. And we had Darren Johnson join us, and he literally carried us. He was a great DH, and I think probably got into late May, early June before all of us started hitting like we should. And but it was, every series is tough. You're battling. I think we went five games with Baltimore in the playoffs, and then of course all 7 games here with the Mets. And they were all close games. Fortunately, we had great pitching. That was a big deal. We had so many great, good pitchers, great bullpen. We had 5 guys down there. All were number 1 relievers with different teams before they joined us. And so still, great pitching is going to stop hitting every time.
I don't know if you guys really knew how great you were and what you were doing. And we now know in baseball how hard it is just to get back to the World Series, let alone win 3 straight. So the fact that here you were in the World Series 2 straight years in a row, that's something we hardly ever see in our game.
Yeah, like I said, we're blessed. you look back during that era, we didn't really lose any of our main players. All of the everyday players, all of our pitching, everybody stayed healthy. And so that was, to me, the big key of our whole run from 1970 through 76. We really didn't lose any of our big main people during that era. So that getting into those World Series years and you get down, especially with the pitching, is so critical that we didn't lose any of those guys.
And it's such a difference between your first one, you play the Cincinnati Reds loaded with stars. Your third one, you're playing the Dodgers. They're coming into their own at this point. A lot of stars. Right. This was a struggling Mets team who just got hot at the right time.
They got hot. They came out of nowhere really to win the division and then win the National League title there. And they had good pitching too. They were very similar to our team. They had some really good pitchers. Matlack and Seaver and Kuzman. I'm trying to think of all the guys they had there that were really good pitching staff. So it was a battle right at the end. Fortunately, Reggie got hot right at the end and carried us when we came back because we were down 3-2 when we came home, and Reggie's just lit them up. That was great.
This is the start of Mr. October.
Oh yeah, no question. Yeah, he unfortunately missed 72, tearing his hamstring, scoring the winning run for us in the playoffs. So he didn't get to play in 72. He definitely made it up. He won the American League MVP plus the World Series MVP that year. So that doesn't happen very often.
A lot of people talk about all the different great players that you had. You mentioned the pitching. I want you to know whenever we have these moments and these celebrations, everybody talks about how great your career is. And you're always very humble about talking about everybody else. But what you did here in Oakland as an Oakland A great, an Oakland A Hall of Famer, when you look back on your career, let's talk just about you, about your career and how good things were for you here in Oakland.
I was really blessed because, I grew up in the Valley out here by Modesto and signed with the A's, never played the outfield. I was an infield, played shortstop, which is normal for kids in that age, and played a little bit of infield at the beginning, and then they slowly started trying to get me in the outfield. And I give them credit every day. We moved here in '68, and we had a wonderful man named Joe DiMaggio.
Yes. It's a great story.
Oh my God! And we had Bob Kennedy was a manager, and for whatever reason they took. I got sent down at the beginning of the season because they had to move. They had to move some people, and I got called back up. I believe it was May 8th. We just started for a couple of weeks in AAA. My first game in the stadium was Catfish's perfect game. I'm playing left field. Never seen the stadium before in my life, and my knees were shaking out there, and I didn't screw it up. And but anyway, Bob Kennedy decided. He told me, he said, "Hey, every day, I don't care if you're coming off a night game with a doubleheader, you're going to take a half-hour fly balls out there." He would stand over by the third base coach's box and hit me everything, the line drive stuff over my head. And Joe D was out there trying to show me how to do footwork and everything. And the hardest thing for me was the catch I made in '72 was having the ball way over your head, turning, going to a spot, turning back in, and being where the ball is. When I first started trying to do that, with DiMaggio, I'd turn, run back, and the ball would be 50 feet over there. And so it was a battle. But I just, like I said, getting my doctorate and playing the outfield for one of the greatest. And he was such a nice man. He was very wary around strangers, around the ball players. He was just one of the guys. Super nice man.
Well, a blessed career growing up in the Valley. Family got to see you play. It was like the perfect fit for you. And, of course, winning 3 championships. It's always an honor to have you on the program. Have fun with this celebration because you guys are truly one of the specialist group that most special groups we've ever seen in baseball history.
Yeah, it's good to see the guys. Unfortunately, we're losing too many. We just lost, of course, Catfish and Fosse and now Bando. It's tough to see the guys go. But, time marches on, doesn't wait for any of us.
The great Joe Rudi right here on A's Cast Live.
I got to tell you, it's been such a treat over the years to have Joe Rudi. We've actually, Commander, we've had Joe Rudi a lot. And we've talked so much with all the different stories. One of my favorite stories from Joe Rudi is learning how to play outfield from Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah, that's always a good one. I love hearing that story.
I mean, yeah, I know that when I was growing up as a kid, he was Mr. Coffee and everything, but we know what a star Joe DiMaggio was in American sports. And to think back then that Joe DiMaggio shows up, comes back to the Bay Area, and he's your coach. They write songs about him. He's mentioned in movies. He's an absolute celebrity. He's Joe DiMaggio, and now he's your coach. Joe Rudi, though, what a career. What an absolute career. You could say Joe is truly one of the glue guys for 72, 73, 74, because they all talk about just how terrific he was. You look at the numbers offensively, what he was defensively, versatile. He could play first base. He could play in the outfield. He was so athletic. And he was, obviously one of the best players of his time. We get so used to, just looking at the guys who were baseball Hall of Famers, but he was a terrific player and was recognized as one of the best players of his time. And that's why I'm just so tickled, as they say, to have Joe Rudi, whatever program it's been through all these years, to have him on. And lately on A's Cast Live, it's been great. Coming up next, my all-time favorite, my buddy Vida Blue, is going to join us right here on A's Cast Live. This is Chris Townsend. There are two things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Linksole, and you're going to love Linksole. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Linksole also has new styles for their layers and hoodies with cool prints and seasonal colors. You know what they say in the big leagues: look good, play good. Go to linksole.com. That's linksole.com.
Chevron with Techron has unbeatable engine cleaning power, and it gives you unbeatable mileage for all kinds of unbeatable destinations, like time in the sun at the beach, or time in the sun riding roller coasters, or a day in the sun hiking mountains. Well, probably just one mountain would be enough for a day, but hiking a mountain is still an unbeatable choice for how to spend time. Download the Chevron app now to get unbeatable mileage at locations near you.
This is Chris Townsend, and if you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see my friends at the Chicken Pie Shop at Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
Thanks to the Xfinity 10G network, my little brother's friends won't leave our house. When I was their age, internet with basically no interruptions was a pipe dream.
You sound like my grandpa.
Now through April 23rd, new customers can get 200 megabit Xfinity internet during our limited time Xfinity 10G network launch celebration for just $25 a month for 2 years. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
Make your way to the ballpark on Sunday, April 30th to watch your A's go head-to-head with the Cincinnati Reds. Get there early to grab your very own Tony Kemp poster, presented by Kaiser Permanente. This one-of-a-kind poster giveaway features TK and his iconic catch.
Diving play to his right. Unbelievable catch by Tony Kemp. Spectacular.
Tickets start at just $10 and are available at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
Hey, Billy, this deck is great for getting everyone together.
Thanks. We're really enjoying the outdoor space, especially on a day like today.
What's the material?
Humboldt Redwood from Ashby Lumber. They gave us a great deal, provided us with a quick quote, and we couldn't be happier. We even found a great contractor through their online contractor directory.
Don't miss a day outdoors. Visit Ashby Lumber in Berkeley or Concord to see our stock of naturally strong, naturally beautiful Humboldt Redwood. Find out more at ashbylumber.com for all your building needs. Ashby Lumber.
Innovation is at the core of Cal State East Bay, like at our Green Biome Institute, where faculty and students preserve genetic information from California's endangered plants, or how we open doors for local entrepreneurs at our Small Business Development Center. From educators to nurses to STEM professionals, Cal State East Bay has real impact throughout the region's neighborhoods, boardrooms, and the entire economy. Be part of the innovation. Connect with Cal State East Bay at csueastbay.edu/impact.
Humanity has accomplished a whole lot so far. We created penicillin, the automobile, and the internet, not to mention drones, duct tape, and the hot dog. It's all thanks to the power of human connections. And Ring Central's here to make that even easier, more seamlessly and securely, on a platform built to grow your business. Say hello to a whole new way to say hello. Visit ringcentral.com and say hello to possibilities. Ring Central. Message, video, phone, together.
When Northern California businesses need some pop in their lineup, they call the bank rooted in the East Bay. Mechanics Bank. Since 1905, Mechanics Bank has been helping Bay Area and Northern California businesses find success and perform at the top of their game. See how they can make a difference in your business today. Call or stop by your local branch or visit mechanicsbank.com. Mechanics Bank, the official East Bay bank of the Oakland A's. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Spring is here and summer is right around the corner, which means two things: golf and special events. Hi, Vince Cotroneo for Cinnabar Hills Golf Club in San Jose. First, enjoy the best of Bay Area golf with 27 holes of championship caliber play. Then you'll agree it's the best place to play in Silicon Valley. And two, with its award-winning venue, let Cinnabar Hills cater your upcoming special occasion, including weddings. Enjoy all that Cinnabar Hills has to offer: great golf, food, and incredible views of the Bay Area. Learn more at cinnabarhills.com. That's cinnabarhills.com.
Streaming from the town, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
I hope everybody enjoyed that. I know I did. And good luck to our guy Vida. Been a little under the weather, but he's gonna be feeling better. And Vida's just so special. And when you think about this organization, you think the greatness of this organization. I mean, Vida Blue, Cy Young, MVP. How many pitchers? So you've had Vida, you've had Clemens. I'm trying to think in order. It goes Vida, Clemens, Eck. No, Vida, Rollie, Clemens, Eck.
Verlander.
Is there only 5?
And Kershaw.
Kershaw won the MVP?
Yep.
So that's 6? Because no one ever done it before Vida, right?
I don't think so. No, I don't think they gave it to both Babe Ruth back then.
I'm gonna save us so we can't be fact checked. All right. In my lifetime, well, actually, Vida won it before I was born.
No, so
I wasn't born in 71, but in my lifetime, those are the guys. It goes Vida, Rollie, Roger, Dennis, Justin,
Clayton,
and Clayton.
And then Garrett Cole this year. It's an overreaction.
Whoa. Yeah. Wait a minute. You're going to allow them to bring Brent Rooker over and you're going to make that statement so I can't bet against that?
What?
I mean, much. That's a bet. Brent may want in on this. He made a bit. So on this show, let's get that out of the way. Yeah. On this show, what happens is people make some idiotic statements. So we call you on it and we end up betting on it.
Okay.
So if you're going to say anything, you got to be able to back it up. Because in baseball, we can't bet money, but we can bet food. And all of a sudden, he's got Garrett Cole in the MVP. I'm like, not so sure. By the way, we didn't get to talk to you in spring training. This is A's Cast Live. This is our live talk show that we do on the field. It's Monday through Friday. We wanted to hook up. We didn't, so it's great to finally have you on. And by the way, wow, what a start for you.
Yeah, good to be here. Thank you guys for having me. It was a good week. Felt good at the plate, obviously. Had a good approach, took some good swings. So I just want to keep, carry that over into this week and keep it rolling.
There's just certain times in an athlete's career where things align. Things haven't always aligned for you. Now here you are at 28 years old. This is the prime of your career. Right spot, right time. Tell us how it feels.
Yeah, it's great. I'm loving being here. I'm just loving kind of getting the opportunity to go out there and compete. And trying to prove myself and prove what I can do. Kind of like you said, the past few years I haven't gotten the opportunities that I've been looking for, that I felt that I maybe deserved. So it's been nice to get those here, and play pretty well while doing it. And obviously, we just want to, the guys in that clubhouse, we're going to come out and play hard and compete every night.
So we always talk about Oakland being the land of opportunity. It doesn't matter where you were drafted, when you were drafted, who drafted you, what's your sign-in bonus, all the different things that have people blocked. Like we've talked to Ryan Noda about Freddie Freeman blocking him. I mean, all these organizations, there's different reasons why guys get called. Here, you play,
You get promoted. You had a great spring. Just what has that meant to you that when you signed here, they told you that and they lived up to it?
Yeah, that means a lot. As a player, when you get picked up by a team or you get to a new organization and the front office and the manager pretty much straight up tell you, hey, like, there's opportunity here for you to compete. If you come in and you earn it, you're going to win a job and you're going to win a spot. And for them to kind of live up to that and make true on their word when I went out and had a good spring meant a lot to me as a player. And I know it means a lot to a lot of guys in that clubhouse too.
Well, I did the numbers. Last 7 games, you're hitting 423, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, 5 multi-hit games during that time. What's a little bit different right now for you?
The only thing I tweaked was my timing a little bit. I just wanted to be able to get started a little bit earlier and be on time more. I felt like I had some streaks during spring training where I was hitting really well, but then I had some times where I didn't do what I wanted to do. And during those times, I just felt kind of rushed and like I didn't have enough time to make necessarily adjustments mid-swing or make the right moves that I wanted to make. So I just kind of made a conscious effort to change my initial move a little bit to get started earlier and a little bit more on time. And I think it's paid off so far.
When you think about your career, you're everything out of the SEC. Mississippi State and high draft pick, signing boat, you got all that going. Just through the years, how frustrating was it that you probably didn't live up to what you expected?
Yeah, I definitely had those times in my career where I have certain expectations of myself, and the opportunities I was given in the big leagues, I didn't meet those expectations. I didn't do what I wanted to do. Kind of year over year, starting in 2019. I played in AAA and put up numbers and kind of met the expectations there. And then when I get promoted and get the chance to kind of carry it over, I just wasn't able to do it. And it gets frustrating and it gets hard at times as a player, but you just kind of keep your head down, keep grinding and waiting for that one opportunity that does click and does pay off.
The one thing just watching you and you notice when you get the arms extended, when you get, it's the pop off the bat. I think about the 1 home run in Baltimore, dead central. You knew it right away. It's that. It when you're going good and you get that extension. What is that feeling like for you?
Yeah, it goes a lot. It's a lot just me being on time. When I'm on time, and I'm able to catch balls out front and be on time for fastballs and still make adjustments on breaking balls is when I'm going really well. And that's kind of what I've been doing the last week, and what's been working is I've been able to hit some fastballs pull side, and then also just kind of be ready in a hitting position early enough to be able to adjust when I recognize breaking balls that are kind of hanging up in the zone, and then put good swings on those too.
Well, and when you talk about that kind of timing too, we are now at an all-time high, even in 2023. You've been seeing it now for years. You've probably been seeing it since college, but all-time high velocity. But even this year, we're at an all-time high velocity, but yet pitchers are throwing less fastballs than ever before. So it's kind of crazy. You got to have the timing for the fastball. It's the hardest fastballs you've ever seen, but yet you're still going to see more breaking balls.
Yeah, and I would imagine the trend's going to continue, and the average velocity is going to keep going up every single year without fail. And probably the other trend too is guys are going to continue to throw more breaking balls because with all the technology pitchers have now, they're able to design pitches certain ways. They're able to put certain spin axes on pitches, certain spin rates on pitches to make them do exactly what they want to do. So they're just getting more precise and more fine with their craft and what they're doing. And I would imagine both those trends continue, like I said. So hitting's only getting harder. And the only way to do it at this level is like to be on time with fastballs, but still be able to adjust when you see spin.
In my day, when you didn't have a good curveball or a good slider, you had a big sweeping breaking ball. We called it a slurve. They're now calling it a sweeper. So we have guys who are throwing a sweeper and a slider. So as a hitter, we know what the 12-6, the vertical breaking ball is. We know what the tight slider is like. This now sweeping breaking ball, more pitchers are throwing it. What does it look like to you as a hitter?
Yeah, so it's a pitch we've seen in the past. It's just always been kind of relegated to the low slot. The low arm slot guys could throw it because they can really get on the side of it from down here to sidearm guys and just put that, whatever spin axis this is.
Like a frisbee.
It's exactly what it looks like. It's a frisbee. And when we're used to seeing it from guys down here, they've just now figured out for how guys to throw over the top and still be able to throw it. So that's basically what it looks like. It's just a frisbee kind of gradually moving away from you, right on right, just kind of gradually moving across the plate and towards the outside corner. Whereas a traditional slider is obviously there's more shape to it and it's a little sharper and more down. Whereas the sweeper, it just kind of gradual move sideways across the zone horizontally.
I know we got a long way to go. You're off to a great start, but I just want to tell you, we have a lot of young kids and a lot of young ball players who watch this program, listen to this program. I think you're a great inspiration to them. I think we've had a lot of players in Oakland like yourself to where never give up. This is your goal. This is your dream. And you're making that dream happen. And you're doing it every day right now for the Oakland Athletics. I think you should be very proud of yourself because you are an inspiration to a lot of young ball players out there.
Thank you very much. That means a lot. Appreciate that.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
We got more coming up next right here on A's Cast Live.
This is Chris Townsend. There are two things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Linksole, and you're going to love Linksole. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Linksole also has new styles for their layers and hoodies with cool prints and seasonal colors. You know what they say in the big leagues: look good, play good. Go to linksole.com. That's linksole.com.
This is Chris Townsend, and if you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see my friends at the Chicken Pie Shop at Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Chevron with Techron has unbeatable engine cleaning power, and it gives you unbeatable mileage for all kinds of unbeatable destinations, like time in the sun at the beach, or time in the sun riding roller coasters, or a day in the sun hiking mountains. Well, probably just one mountain would be enough for a day, but hiking a mountain is still an unbeatable choice for how to spend time. Download the Chevron app now to get unbeatable mileage at locations near you.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services, specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflows, managing documents, and providing the best-in-class office technology. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. That's ubeo.com.
A's fans need Friday night plans? Well, we got you covered. Get 4 tickets and parking for any Friday night game starting at just $49 with the Friday 4-pack presented by Chevrolet. Save big and enjoy great matchups, post-game fireworks and drone shows, giveaways, and more this 2023 season.
He drills one to right, way back, and no doubt. And that quickly, the A's have taken the lead. Second deck.
Friday night tickets are available at athletics.com/value. That's athletics.com/value.
With more sunshine returning, it's time to get outside and make the most of what Cinnabar Hills Golf Club has to offer, like 27 championship caliber holes tucked in the beautiful hills of San Jose. And take advantage of their amazing Bay Area views for your next special event. It's all for you at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club, an award-winning venue designed to peacefully take you away from the bustle of Silicon Valley. Go to CinnabarHills.com. That's CinnabarHills.com.
If you're looking for the latest green and gold gear for the 2023 season, then look no further than athletics.com/shop for your officially licensed gear. That's athletics.com/shop.
Innovation is at the core of Cal State East Bay, like at our Green Biome Institute, where faculty and students preserve genetic information from California's endangered plants, or how we open doors for local entrepreneurs at our Small Business Development Center. From educators to nurses to STEM professionals, Cal State East Bay has real impact throughout the region's neighborhoods, boardrooms, and the entire economy. Be part of the innovation. Connect with Cal State East Bay at csueastbay.edu/impact.
Is convenience a state of mind or a real thing? At Extra Mile, it's a real thing, and it's in everything they do. The stores are spacious, organized, clean, and well lit, so you can get in quickly, get what you need, and keep going. It's just what you'd expect from a place serving up the hot and fresh food and snacks you love. So treat you right, and check out Extra Mile's fresh take on the convenience store experience. Extra Mile convenience stores at select Chevron and Texaco locations.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
A's Cast Live continues from Ricky Henderson Field. Here's Chris Townsend.
All right, we're getting some news that Mark Kotze just talked about Paul Blackburn, that there's still some finger issues, looks like blisters. So we have talked on this show, we've talked about on the A's Clubhouse show that, before you know it, Rosinski and Blackburn are going to be back. Well, I guess what? We just wait until...
Yeah, I guess we're waiting.
We can't project. I mean, Rosinski's got to be. I mean, hamstring, he's pitched. He's got to be close.
You would think so, because it's
got to be.
It's weird hearing about a hamstring injury for a pitcher,
especially
a starting pitcher.
Has that been a month?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not asking him to play cornerback and cover wide receivers, and I'm worried about him running a 40. I mean, seriously, a pitcher and a hamstring problem?
Yeah. So here's the official
for a month.
Here's the official updates. This is Martin Gallegos has it on
All
Twitter.
right.
Paul Blackburn came away from his rehab outing with a blister on his middle finger. His next start is in question. There's another update. Manny Pena will begin a rehab assignment with Single-A Stockton. He'll DH on Friday and is expected to catch on Sunday. So there's some updates. But Blackburn, after a finger last year.
You going to take Perez out right now?
No. And what are you going to do? Bench Shea?
Bangaliers.
Yeah. He's one of the bright spots right now.
Right now, and I can't see it enough. I can't say it enough. I know I got all these people around me, but I want to see what the young guys can do. Shea Langoliers is a guy, close your eyes. Who can you invite? Do you like that? Close your eyes.
It's like it's a meditation.
Who can you see in an A's uniform 3 years from now? Just close your eyes. Close your eyes.
They are closed.
Do you see Langoliers?
Yes.
Do you see Ruiz?
Yes.
Ruiz.
Esty.
Do you see him?
I do.
Okay.
Ryan Noda.
What does he do?
He gets on base.
Okay. Do you see Kyle Muller?
Yes. He came over and said hi to us earlier.
Couldn't believe it. Starting pitcher came over and shook our hands. Hey, guys, how are you? Like, we're not supposed to talk to you. See, it's that kind of stuff where you're like, those are the guys I want to see. I mean, that's why, technically.
You do know that.
I'd like to see Allen here.
You do, real quick, do know if Muller pitches well tonight and they win, every pitcher every day is going to start talking to us because good luck, apparently.
Are you going to tell them that? We haven't had a starter win a game yet this year.
Well, if that happens tonight,
I will say this.
I'm taking full credit.
I could give you our pitchers have given up 31 home runs, worst in baseball. Our pitchers have walked 86 guys, worst in baseball. How about our bullpen? Our starters have pitched 73 2/3, not good innings. Our bullpen's pitched 61 1/3. And by the way, our bullpen has 48 walks during that time. All bad, but I'll give you some good. Glass half full. We're a happy Monday here. Offense, last 6 games, hitting 290.
Pretty good.
8 home runs.
Good.
34 runs.
Pretty good.
Offense is, close scoring games the last 2 games, but the offense has been getting it done versus what we thought they were going to be. We're in spring training going, how are they going to score runs? And if there's one thing you learned from this weekend, and especially yesterday, if you watched the game, if you didn't watch the game, if you went back and watched it, if you were a YouTube scout, what's the number one thing you're going to take away? I'm going to tell you right now. People are running at will. Catchers had no shot yesterday throwing anybody out. Right now, you get on first base, go. The leads are unbelievable. Ruiz was taking a lead yesterday. That was like, as soon as the pitcher goes, he's gone. Catcher has absolutely zero chance. Teams should have been doing this from game 1, but now now I think everybody's gotten a little comfortable and they've all realized this is like shooting dead fish in a barrel. This isn't shooting fish in a barrel. This is dead fish in a barrel. Guardians with 25 steals, Orioles with 24, Mets with 20, Cubs across the way here. You're going to see them behind us taking BP. They're at 19. The A's are at 18. We didn't steal any bags early. We're already up to 18.
Yeah.
Get it going. Run, and run some more. Every single time you get on base, unless you're Jesus Aguilar, you should be saying, I'm ready to go. I'm going.
The 18 steals is great because we saw an uptick in it. They've had the game where Tyler Wade stole 2 bases when he came in the pinch run. It's been great to see. We need to see
Nico Horner, by the way, the kid from Oakland who plays for the Cubs. We're getting him tomorrow.
Let's talk to him tomorrow. Yeah,
he's at 8.
Yeah,
he's got 8 by himself.
8 of the 19 by the There's a stat I believe about how he has like the most steals to the team's first. Forgot how many games. Like Ramon's on the list.
Last 10 years. So since 2014, through the first 14 games, D. Gordon had 10 in 2014. Billy Hamilton had 8. Nico Horner 8. Hamilton did that 2015. Horner now and Ramon in 2021 8. So it's like, guys, go. Everybody get. I mean, it's like I almost want to walk out there and go, hey, you do realize that it's almost impossible to throw you out. We're stealing at an 83% clip. Said it in the post game yesterday. I'll say it again. Any business that has a success rate of 83%, unless you're in the medical field, I think we want everything in the medical field to be more than 83%. You want it to be 100%. But I'll tell you right now, being in the restaurant business, if we're successful and we're up 83%, I'm in.
Yeah, I can confirm the 100% medical field. I'm married to a nurse. That's confirmed.
She delivers 100%. Babies. You want that to go well 100% of the time.
Yeah, you want that. Yes, 100. Yeah, you don't want anything below.
I'm just saying 83%. Like if you're sick,
it's pretty good. We did the math. I broke down the numbers.
Put it this way, Moneyball. You pay me to steal second base.
No, I don't pay. I pay to get on first, not get thrown out at second.
Well, sorry, Billy. The percentage is 83%. It is worth the risk. This is a risk worth taking. By the way, Brent Rooker came over, so we weren't able to get you Vida Blue. Now, oh, by the way, you got fact-checked on your MVP pitchers.
Yeah, well, okay, so let me qualify real quick. The Garrett Cole thing was an overreaction I wanted to do with later. So the Milwaukee Mauler, our good friend.
The great Milwaukee Mauler.
That's a P1 listener, if you're familiar with that term. He sent us a list. 1956, Don Newcomb did it. 1960,
Dodgers,
1963, some Koufax guy did it. He was pretty good.
That hack.
1968, both Denny McClain and Bob Gibson did it, year of the pitcher. Remember, they had to move the mound back. 1971, Vida, as you mentioned.
No, they didn't move the mound back.
They lowered him out, sorry.
Yeah.
They lowered him out. The only one you forgot that when we went through, we forgot. The great Willie Hernandez in 1984 for Detroit.
1984. That was the Rays of 1984 where the Tigers started out 35-5 and then just boat raced everybody till they won the World Series. They lost one game to the Padres. Game 2 of the World Series.
Yeah, and I'm not apologizing to the Mad Dog. I stand by what I said.
Hey, Mad Dog, our buddy, the Hall of Famer, not a real like radio Hall of Famer, not like we make up a bunch of different Hall of Fame. He's in the Radio Hall of Fame. Go ahead. Apologize.
I have no reason to apologize. They're still 14-2.
Like
the Astros are.
Sam Ferraro, my old baseball coach, is in like 6 Hall of Fames.
Yeah. By the way, he has the Astros. He had the Astros number 1. How they doing? They're still 2 games under 500.
Who?
The Astros. He had them number 1.
Yeah, but you know what he's saying? He's saying your cute little start doesn't matter.
Why? Because they lost 2 games in Toronto.
That's what he said. I mean, that you got to pause. Yeah, and who do they play now? Cincinnati. Playing the schedule game.
If it was the Yankees, though, we would crown them like we did last year.
Oh, yeah. By June, we gave them the World Series. Okay. MVP, Cy Young, and literally one of the coolest baseball players of all time, the great Vida Blue. The greatness of Vida Blue, and we're celebrating the 1973 World Series champions. You were such a huge part. You think about that year. You won 20 games. You guys won the World Series.
Nice.
And it was the second straight year winning the World Series for you.
Pretty cool, huh? I think, Chris, I was turning 23 that July, so pretty cool. And in my wildest dreams, of course, when you in the minor leagues, you want to make it to the majors. And once you get to the majors, what's next? You want to win the World Series. That's every player's dream, and mine was no different. But to do it 1, 2, 3 years in a row is pretty cool. And we played a pretty decent Mets team. And I think that was the last time Willie Mays wore a baseball uniform. Yeah. And it was sad to see him go because he's my childhood idol, along with the Aarons and Frank Robinsons and of course, let's not forget Mr. Robinson himself.
Yeah.
So pretty cool, man. I enjoyed the ride, and thanks for honoring us today, and thanks for letting me get a little face time.
Well, you think about where you were at this point, right? 71, then 72, you win the World Series. Now you win it again. So if people thought, the A's got lucky in 72 against the Reds. Now they weren't saying that. You've won 2 straight World Series. You go to another one, win again in 74. But what was that thought process, validating it and doing it again?
I don't know, man. Like I said, I was too young to figure out what the heck was going on.
Life was just going too good.
All I know, I was enjoying the ride, and we had a great ball team, but I think the Mets might have matched up against us with their pitcher with Tom Seaver, Tug McGraw, Jerry Koosman. Was it Craig Swan? I think it was Swan. I can't think of his first name, but they matched up pretty good with us. But we had Catfish Hunt and Rollie Fingers and Blue Moon Odom and Paul Lindblad and Daryl Knowles and a guy named Vida Blue. So again, man, in your wildest dreams, you don't think about winning it. Then you think about repeating. Said, nah. I know this for a fact. You mentioned the word luck when you asked your question. I know it wasn't luck. It was all skill, baby.
Well, I remember our buddy Ray Fosse said when he came here, this was his first year with the A's.
He thought we were crazy.
Dick Green told him, we're going to win the World Series. And, Ray's coming from Cleveland where they were out of first place as of game 1 of the season, right?
80,000 people opening day, and after that, see you later.
Yeah, and he said it was unbelievable the confidence you guys had and the belief that you guys had in yourselves.
I think what us might have scared him was that we fought amongst ourselves. And there was always a little brawl between this guy and that guy and this guy. But when it came down to crossing that white line, we were all business. And you have to give a shout out to our managers. And you have to give credit to Charlie Finley. He's the one that assembled us and put us together. May he rest in peace. But the man knew what he was doing. I know that. He would call me in the wintertime and say, Vida, what do you think of Don Bell? I'm like, hey, man, he's a tough out for me. He's now your teammate. Don't say anything until like 4 o'clock, and there's going to be a press release. I'm like, what? The hell are you talking about? What the heck you talking about, man? But we got to give credit to the ownership, got to give credit to the coaches. And they put us in a position to win and be successful each and every day, and it worked out for us. But be one of the Yankees are the only other team to three-peat. Then the Yankees win it 5 years in a row at one time.
They won 5 years in a row, yeah.
But to be amongst those dynasties of the Yankees, it's pretty cool to not compare, but be in the same sense as when you talk about teams winning the championship more than twice.
Yeah, it's just the A's and the Yankees to do a three-peat. And, now when you get together, we just talked to Joe Rudi about this. I mean, you guys were more than just teammates. You guys were like brothers. What's it like to still get together at this point?
Well, we're getting up in age. As you heard me grunting, getting out of the little cart that they provided me with. But it's always nice to see each other. And, of course, coming over on the bus, we're reminiscing about this and that. And I'm amazed the memory of some of these guys have talking about a certain game, at bat, or pitcher, or situation in which we were confronted with. But, the game of baseball has kept me young in a sense in itself, Chris, because I can remember certain pitching situations, but when I'm going to the grocery store, I forget to get the eggs. I'm not sure how that works, but I can remember baseball stuff 20 years ago. I can't remember to get the eggs at Safeway. So I'm not sure how it works like that, but that's the way it is.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've known you for a long time, and all the years after your career in the media and the television, you talked about one of the great baseball lives. You've had one of them, and you're truly an A's great. And everybody in the Bay Area, you're one of the few guys that played for both teams. And You're always going to be remembered as absolute greatness in this
I
area.
wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world, man. It's the experience that a kid from Mansfield, Louisiana, left town and seeking his fortune, and I'm on playing with house money.
Well, it's always great to see you, my
Chris.
friend.
My pleasure, man.
The great Vida Blue. The great Vida Blue. Doesn't get any better than that. Special man, and had a great career and everything he's done in the Bay Area. You think of A's, Giants, what he's done on television, radio, being a broadcaster, and he's going to get into better health. We're told that he's working back, so great to see Vida Blue. And as he always likes to say, I might even say this in the next interview with Reggie, Vida always bragged, I was the youngest of all these guys.
Yeah. It was great to see Vida because, like I said, we saw him last year. Good to have him this year. What he did back in 71, winning the Cy Young and MVP, we went up the list. Not many guys have done that.
Not many.
And the last guy to do it in baseball was Clayton Kershaw back with the Dodgers. I think it was 15. I don't remember the exact year. Verlander did it in 11. Then it was Kershaw. No one's done it since. So it was great to catch up with Vida.
Well, they just wouldn't, for years, they wouldn't vote these guys.
Yeah.
They don't play every day. Well, there's something to be said about that. It's 162 games. But these guys made 30-something starts. They're not like your starting fantasy pitchers who go 5 innings 22 times a year.
Garrett Cole had a shutout the other day.
These guys actually pitched every 4 days.
Yeah, there was no such thing as
rest. They had far more value, those starting pitchers back in the day than now. Or even those relievers, the incredible years that they had. All right, do you want to get to Reggie now?
Sure.
Reginald Martinez.
Jackson, yes.
The Hall of Famer. One of the great players of all time. We had it for you yesterday. Did we do that? Oh, we didn't have a show yesterday. Have I busted this out yet? My Trout stat with Reggie?
No.
I've actually not done this because Mike Trout just got to 300 doubles. How about this list, okay? Before you turn 32 years old, 300 home runs, 300 doubles, 200 stolen bases. Okay, you're not 32 yet. So you got a lot of career left, but 300 home runs, 300 doubles, and 300 home runs, 300 doubles, 200 stolen bases. There's 5 guys that did this in their career before the age of 32. Mike Trout at Fenway Park a few days ago. Let's see, when did I take this picture? He would have done it Saturday. Mike Trout did it on Saturday. Mike Trout has 353 home runs, 301 doubles, 204 stolen bases. The other 4 guys to be in this club, 300, 300, 200. Alex Rodriguez.
Nice career.
Barry Bonds.
Pirate legend.
Willie Mays.
Mets legend.
And Reggie Jackson. Those are the only guys to be in this group. Trout,
it's a good list.
A-Rod, Bonds, Mays, and Reggie Jackson. Before he turned 32, Reggie had 347 home runs, 306 doubles, and 205 stolen bases. You know what's crazy? A-Rod's numbers are the best out of all. A-Rod had 535 home runs by the time he was 32. 416 doubles and 280 stolen bases. That even blows Mays away.
Yeah, he was a special player, for sure.
Wow.
I mean, they all were, but what A-Rod did as a kid in Seattle.
Well, and
before he became a third baseman.
And for Reggie Jackson, it's kind of sad. Because, yes, Reggie was built for New York. I mean, the legendary stuff, Did you come to New York to be a star? No, I brought my star to New York.
The straw that stirs the drink.
I'm the straw that stirs the drink. And he ruffled everybody's feathers, but he didn't care because he was Reggie Jackson. And, yeah, he was bringing his star to New York. But if he would have been able to play his entire career here, wow. And this is where it all started, the greatness of Reggie Jackson in Oakland. And, well, it didn't start here. It started in Kansas City, but it came to Oakland. And, coming out of Arizona State, baseball, football, great athlete. For me, I remember Reggie Jackson as an older player, starting to be an older player, not a great outfielder, starting to become a DH. And before you know it, he'd be an Angel. That'd be a California Angel.
Yeah.
They just had the I saw it on Instagram where on opening day they had the Reggie bar, and he had a home run on opening day, and everybody was throwing their Reggie bars at Yankee Stadium on the field. Reggie Jackson was a star. Reggie Jackson's been in movies, commercials, you name it.
There's a new documentary out too on Amazon, I'm pretty sure.
Reggie Jackson's a star. And it was great to have him back here at the Coliseum. He took the mic yesterday in front of everybody, and Reggie was Reggie. Reggie had some things to say about Oakland and about the Coliseum, ruffled some people's feathers, but you're not going to stop Reggie from being Reggie.
No.
Reginald Martinez Jackson, and he does not apologize.
No, he's just the straw that stirs the drink.
I remember the years ago when he had his soup company that they had the store that was opening on the Embarcadero in San Francisco. I had soup right up here in my booth. I had soup with Reggie Jackson. He was decked out in all of his Yankee gear because, remember, he was a Yankee consultant. He came up, and we did it probably about 45 minutes. I tried all the different soups with him when we talked baseball. It's amazing. He was super cool to us yesterday.
Yeah,
he was great. But, Reggie is a hit-or-miss deal. But when you're selling a product with him, he was the nicest guy in the world. It's like I'm sitting there that is, one of the interviews I look back at my career, I wish we had video of, or wish it was on TV, sitting there just eating soup with Reggie Jackson talking baseball. It was so cool. Clam chowder, and we're just telling stories. Reggie Jackson. Here is the interview with one of the all-time greats. He's a Hall of Famer, an A's Hall of Famer, Reggie Jackson. At the Coliseum for the 1973 World Series champion celebration, the Hall of Famer, A's Hall of Famer, and all-time baseball great, Reggie Jackson. Reggie, it's great to have you back, and I know these moments are so special when you get to remember all these great memories with guys who we've been saying they're just not your former teammates, they're your brothers.
That's true. Especially when I see guys like Vida Blue and Bert Campaneris, Joe Rudi, Daryl Knowles and Rollie Fingers, Billy North. Special to see Sal's family, who was like a brother to me, like an older brother. But coming back and seeing the guys is always something that's very special. And I think as you get older and realize that you're on the not on the back nine, you're on the 18th hole. Then you do want to celebrate and really cherish the moments of sharing time.
Yeah, we're talking about it. We talked about with Vida, we talked about with Joe Rudi, how you guys win in 72. And I know you didn't play in the World Series in 72, but you were obviously such a big part of the team. And then now 73, what was it like to win it for a second straight year?
I don't know if we realized at the time how good we were. I certainly think as you look through the past and look back in the history of the game and realize that the Yankees won 5 in a row, and then the Yankees again in the Jeter era won 3 in a row. I was part of that team in the front office. And then, of course, what we did in the 70s is very special in the game of baseball. They talk about dynasties, so certainly, you can talk about the Big Red Machine, and you can talk about the Dodger teams. You can talk about the Atlanta Brave teams, of course, the Pittsburgh Pirates, and we are family, if you will, the Red Sox in the early 2000s. But to win 3 in a row is very unique. I think there's only 3 teams that have ever done it. Yankees did it twice. And so to be part of that and, have the memories, I look at Vida and, I just remember when he came here and threw his first no-hitter in 1970 in Kansas City. And I still see him from time to time. He's a very dear friend, like family. And so the conversation that you have with people like that, and that of course spreads to me and Joe Rudi. Joe Rudi was my first roommate, and it was a big deal to be black and white and have a roommate and room together. And so those things are remembered, they're cherished. And when you do see the guys and be able to hug them and see how they're doing, the first thing you ask is, how's your health? And those things are important, because we all know we're in our 70s, mid 70s, upper 70s. A couple of guys 80s,
yeah.
Dick Green is 82, Bert Campaneris is 81. And so I'll touch 77 this year in a month. And so I think Vida's 3 or 4 years behind me. And so we'll realize the time is short, but we do understand that those were very special times, and these people that are in our lives are very special people.
Yeah, Vida last year at the 1972 celebration, I want to remind everybody he was the youngest guy on the team. You want to make sure that he reminded us all of that. One of the greatest nicknames in the history of sports, Mr. October. This is when it started. Obviously, you're the MVP in 73, but you're the MVP of the World Series also. Mr. October, the birth of Mr. October is in 1973.
I would say so. I remember Joe Garagiola calling me the autumn child in the Tom Seaver game, where I got a couple of hits, drove in a couple of runs against him, and we beat him in Game 6 to force a Game 7. And then, of course, we wound up beating John Matlack on that Sunday afternoon and clinched the World Series. So that was really a special time for us, special time for me, special time for the city of Oakland. I think it was the first time I ever got tipsy. I know I wasn't a drinker, but I had too much champagne in the clubhouse. So the memories are wonderful. And I can still see some of the faces of people that had tickets way back when.
Some people who work here.
And the people that work here. I came in today, and a lady was on the gate, been there 30 years, Jamie. And, saw her, said hello. The guys in the back that park the cars, the guys that run the elevators. Hey, Reggie, how you doing? How you been? Good to see you again. So-and-so, I'm so-and-so and so-and-so. I've been here 30 years. And so the moments are special.
Well, thank you so much for the time. We truly appreciate it. Enjoy today. You guys are getting your due. You're just due. One of the greatest teams of all time. And have fun with your brothers today here at the Coliseum.
Thanks, Chris.
The great Reggie Jackson right here on A's Cast Live.
I mean, he's Reggie Jackson. I've been to the Baseball Hall of Fame for the induction ceremony. And when they announced Reggie Jackson, because if you've ever been, I'm telling you, probably the best time to go to the Baseball Hall of Fame is in the fall, where it's not hot anymore. The leaves have changed in the Northeast. It's absolutely beautiful. That is the perfect time to go to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Go in the fall. But if you ever go to when and the induction weekend, it's crazy. It's incredible. It's just the most inspiring baseball celebration. All the Hall of Famers are walking around. Have I told this? I've told the story. I bumped into Tom Seaver.
Yeah.
Literally, I bumped into Tom Seaver. We came around the corner, bumped into each other.
Who was at fault? You were. It's Tom Seaver.
It's Tom Seaver. He's a lot bigger than I am.
Fresno's own versus you.
I bumped into Tom. Boom. Oh, Jesus. Tom Seaver.
You know better than most. Fresno people they're built different.
He's from Fresno, let's be honest. And you know how I feel about Fresno State and Fresno. Don't even get me started. It's not even an accredited university, if you ask me. But yeah, it's incredible. And then when you're there for the ceremony and they announce all the Hall of Famers, do not think that Reggie Jackson doesn't get one of the biggest ovations. They announce them all, and they all come out. But it's Reginald Martinez Jackson. People go nuts. He's Reggie. Reggie Jackson, a star. 1973 was truly the start, as you just heard, was the start of one of the greatest nicknames in the history of American sports, Mr. October.
Yeah, that's way better than, they gave Jeter the Mr. November. Like, because they played like 3 World Series games in November that one year.
That was creative. Stop your hate on Jeets. All you metric guys hate Jeter.
No, first of all, that's Hembo.
You say he sucks at shortstop.
That's Hembo.
He shouldn't be a Hall of Famer.
No, I've never said that.
Huh? You say Jeter should be a Hall of Famer.
He's a great hitter, clutch hitter.
Are you to say
he left a lot to be desired as a fielder?
Would you go in with a crowbar and rip his plaque out of there and throw it onto the street?
Who we put?
You love it when I do that. Can you imagine? I hate this guy. You break into the Hall of Fame and burn the guy's plaque out in front. Huh?
Sending a message.
You doing that? I'm letting you know. You're not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. I don't know. I'd have to look closely to other guys, and I wouldn't do it to anyone. But there are people probably feel strongly like that.
By the way, yeah. And speaking of, well, everybody strikes out. Okay, Reggie Jackson. I got to look this up real quick. But
I think we've done this exercise, but I know where you're going.
Reggie Jackson he struck out more than anybody in the history of the game, but yet he got base hits. You want to know what Reggie's average was when he won the MVP in 1973? Take a guess.
325.
293.
Oh, I aimed high.
He'd be like, you come out and hit 293 now. You're like Tony Gwynn or Wade Boggs.
You mean Luis Ariz?
Don't even get me started on that. Don't even give me. He's the modern day Tony Gwynn. That's blasphemy. But
you wouldn't take him on your team?
Well, I was the one who liked him. You guys all said he didn't have a position and all he does is get base hits. I went, I'll take a guy that all he does is hit.
I mean, did you see Pablo Lopez has got extended, by the way? The guys that are trading for each other.
What, 70 mil or something like that?
4 for 73 from Minnesota.
Good for him.
Yeah. He pitched well against Garrett Cole the other day.
I mean, nice little 70 mil guaranteed. You know what I like about that range is that no one freaks out about it.
No.
Like we're now in a baseball world that if you sign somewhere between like 70 and 120 million, there's not this extra pressure. Like the pressure, like when Kevin Brown signed for 110, 111 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That people were like, oh my, you got to win every game. Then Zito, what he signed for, the pressure. Certain guys, they keep signing these contracts that it puts so much pressure on you. Now, you sign for $85 million, no one even blinks.
Yeah.
It's like not a big deal. So you set up your family for generations, and you can just go out and play and not have the – basically, no one sees you as just as dollar signs. The highest paid guys, people just see you as a dollar sign, and they expect you to do something every at-bat, every outing, never to screw up. But, hey, you signed for $75 million. It's a one-time blip on MLB.com. I mean, if I go to, let's just say, the most traffic on a sports website every single day is ESPN.com. It's not even close. They own that world. I guarantee you, if I go to ESPN.com right now and look at their headlines, it's not even in there.
Probably not. You have to click on the actual MLB tab to look for it.
Yeah, it wouldn't even be on there. So it's like, now if I sign for $450 million.
Yeah, you'd be the lead story. Well, you would think. Theoretically, you would be. But it's a good
back
deal
to that.
Reggie.
Back to Reggie, Mr. I strike out more than anybody else in the history of the game, 2,597. He had a 262 career batting average. Get the hell out of here with you guys saying you can't hit for batting average. Reggie hit 262, but that's as he got older and he really didn't hit for that. But Reggie won the MVP hitting 293.
That's a Hall of Famer in today's
And
game.
you guys are sitting there loving guys hitting 235, but he hits home runs. He's hitting 235. Get out of here. You want to do the overreactions. Quickly, I want to do this. Highlighted some teams today, getting ready for the show. I highlighted in green teams off to good starts, surprise starts. And I'm just going to go, they do the divisions. I'll just go down by division. Obviously, Captain Obvious will start out. They have the East, the Tampa Bay Rays.
No, you said they stink.
Tampa Bay Rays, no doubt, off to the start. I think a big surprise, in first place at 10-6, Minnesota Twins and Rocco Baldelli.
Pablo Lopez, Carlos Correa backing out. Buxton's only DHing, but he's playing well because he's not getting hurt actually being in the field. They keep him healthy, they could win that division. He's the key for their team.
They've started out in division 5-1. So they've started out well in their division. The big surprise in the West, the Texas Rangers and Bruce Bochy. They're getting some pitching. They're getting hitting.
Your guy's pitching
They're
tonight.
winning.
Your guy's pitching tonight, too.
Which guy?
DeGrom.
No. Valdi's my guy.
Over under 5 innings for DeGrom tonight.
Oh, it'll be right. No, it's got to be like
5 1/3.
5 2/3, and I'm taking the under. Over in the National League East, I'm going to say here at 8-8, Ray the Karate Kid Jensen's Miami Marlins, to me, are the big surprise. Old Skip, their manager, was on high heat today.
Well, he believes Luis Ariz is Tony Gwynn.
I think you got to. I mean, at 8-8, an 8-8 start. You know what I would do for an 8-8 start right now?
What did he say? What was his quote? And Mad Dog asked him how he's doing his first year.
It was Alana Rizzo was doing the interview. She said, "Great, it's something like how grade yourself." And it was great. He goes, "I would say I've been average." And he's like, I got a lot to learn. It's his first time ever managing, right?
Yeah, former bench coach.
And, he was real honest. I've been average, but I thought it was – so I think the Marlins at 8-8, I think no question, that's a great start. Your Milwaukee Brewers in the Central.
You told me I was crazy for saying they're going to win the
I
Central.
still think they will be El Foldo by the end of the year.
Oh, you really had to pick Milwaukee. You couldn't go with the Pirates. You had to go with Milwaukee, huh?
You know what? I'm sorry. Pirates.
They stink without O'Neill Cruz. The season's over.
Bay. My guy
J1
Bay.
Bay's a good player.
He's got swag. They got swag. They got swords now.
They just can't pitch.
They got a sword in the dugout.
They can get some pitching. They'll stick around.
Troy's out though, right?
Yeah, he's gonna be out for probably longer than 10 days.
And then in the West, who said, "Look out for the Diamondbacks"? Who was that guy? Who was that guy? Who was that guy?
It's hard for us not to.
You all were talking about the Giants. You all were talking about the Padres. You all had your parade route in San Diego. It's going to be on the sea, and then it's going to be land. Oh, we're at the winter meetings. You and Bob Melvin, we're already raising the Lombardi Trophy. That's football. Oh, Terry Bradshaw was there asking you questions. You'd already won the Super Bowl. You'd won it all.
No, I can't. I'm so mad.
What is Larry O'Brien is the
NBA,
in the NBA? What's
I'm really gonna ask what. Don't ask me. You're telling me. Ask me what hockey is. I think
it's Lord Stanley.
Thank you.
And then, do we have a name for our trophy?
Isn't the Commissioner's Trophy?
Is that what it is? Better not be better not have Bud attached.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I think it's the Commissioner's Trophy though.
So your Padres are 8-9. Your Giants are 5, and they're part of my disaster. Hold on. My Diamondbacks. I told you, watch out for the Snakes. Torey Lovello, former A, skipper, leader of men. Snakes are 9-7 in first place.
He's a leader. Do you put him ahead of Fran though?
You got to have multiple generals to win the war. So I will not put him in front of Fran Reardon.
Fran's they're for 1A, 1B.
I mean, you're going to have Eisenhower. You got to have multiple generals.
Patton.
Yeah, you're not going to have one. So those are my great. How about my stinkers? They're in. Some people call it gold, yellow. We call it gold around here. I put them in gold. I'm starting out. See, I don't have anybody in the East. Everybody in the East, I mean, even the Red Sox starting out 8-8 before they lost today.
Yeah.
But they started out at 8-8 and won 3 in a row. I didn't have anybody in the East. The East is real fascinating how that division. Once again, the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox continue to be a team. They got all this talent. They got all that. They completely disappointed last year, and they're already out to a disappointing start at 6-10.
Yeah, they had the second most walks in baseball as a team staff.
Behind who?
The A's. Okay. We have 85. They have 81.
This shouldn't shock us at all. But in the West, it's not us. People, you know what, folks? I hate to tell you, but a lot of the national people predicted what we got. Lester Only said we'd be
459 wins.
Yeah. So this is not a shocker to a lot of people. Jeff Blum said it. I don't think a lot of other people did, but said it on this program. The Cal Bear, the World Series hero for the White Sox, now broadcasters for the Astros. He said, watch out. Astros probably won't be great early. They're 7-9.
Their starting pitching's been decent.
And lost a series to the Rangers. I heard it today or I read it today. This is like the first time in 10 series they beat the Astros.
Yeah, the Rangers. Well, Marcus had.
The Rangers beat the Astros. Yeah.
Marcus Simeon's swinging about well for the Rangers. But yeah, the Astros.
He had a grand slam yesterday.
Yeah, the Rangers are there, or the Astros are confounding because their starting pitching's been decent. I mean, Bregman's not hitting. Altuve's hurt. It's surprising, but Blummer did tell us that. So they have what we call a track record. I'm not really too concerned yet.
In the East, the Fightins still 6-10. The Fightins still fighting out of that hole they dug.
They don't have a lot of home runs this year. I think they've only have 16 as a team. When their team, you think they would mash home runs, but
they're terrible on the road.
Yeah. What's their record on the road?
3-7.
I'll say the Royals are 1-9 at home. So,
no one predicted them to be any good. In the Central, if we're going to talk about Brewers and your Pirates, bad. We got to talk about Cardinals.
Yeah, they're
2 games
surprising.
under old 500. Their pitching is not there.
Oh, sorry, I was looking. Cincinnati's being Tampa Bay right now. To see you were asking about how they're doing it earlier, but
wow, hey, Mad Dog told you. You want to go up against Mad Dog Chris Russo. So in the Central, it's Cincinnati. In the West, you all said the Giants were going to be good. You all said the moves that they made, they're geniuses. Kapler's a chef now on Instagram. He's showing you how to make steak and steak tartare. And Kapler's a genius. And Farhan, he's Moneyball with money. They're just the best. How are your Giants at 5-9?
They have a terrible bullpen. So that's
my God, their bullpen's horrific. Do you want me? I can get into that.
Do they have the worst? I think they have the 4th worst bullpen ERA.
It's the last few games. The Giants bullpen has just been an absolute. Giants bullpen has been the big culprit of their problems. They've posted a 6.97 ERA over the last 8 games. The Giants are 2-6 in that time. Only the White Sox and the Phillies, we talked about 2 disappointing teams, their bullpens have been worse than the Giants. 6.08 on the season. But last 8 games, you're talking about a 6.97 ERA for the Giants bullpen. Giants stink.
They got lucky. They got rained out yesterday.
Giants
they could have got swept by Detroit.
You guys are all Giants. I'll give you another one. Padres. 8-9. Oh, Soto. Machado sign. You guys were crowning the Padres. They've won nothing ever. All they've done is put themselves in some serious debt. As of right now, the only thing the Padres have done has put their franchise in serious debt. Now, a lot of us Americans, we have a lot of debt. If you're a homeowner and you own things, you're going to be in debt. But they're in debt. Their owner is going out and taking loans. This is not the Padres are going to their checkbook, all right? They don't have Apple Pay, and they're going, boop, we'll pay for him with Apple Pay. Boop, we'll pay for him. No. The owner is going and getting loans out on his personal businesses to be able to cover this stuff. They're going into debt. Now, with anything with debt, eventually, he could pay it all off, and then they make a ton of money. But as of right now, Padres, as we saw from Forbes, is all you guys want to quote Forbes about the A's. Let's quote Forbes about the Padres. They lost money. Drew $3 million and lost money, and they've taken on how many contracts since last year?
Oh, boy. Quite a few. Bogarts. Trying to think what else they take.
Darvish extension,
him,
Cronenworth extension, Bogarts, Machado extension.
And they were signed a reliever too. Oh yeah, they were signed
Suarez.
Suarez, yeah.
I mean, they didn't make money. They didn't make money last year, and you're like, they won. Granted, yeah, they won, but they haven't won anything. They didn't get to the World Series. They didn't win the division, and they've spent all this money. And they're 8-9. They lost 3 out of 4 to the Brewers.
Yeah, now they got to play the Braves.
Yeah, so it's like everybody wanted to crown the Padres. Like this is what you're supposed to do. I'm telling you right now, this will be a major problem. The skipper down there isn't worried about it because he'll be gone by the time this really gets bad. But all this money, at some point, this is going to really affect them. And they're one of the teams that is a Bally's, connected with Bally's Cable, that hasn't been paying their bills to some of these teams. So the Padres lost money last year. The owner is taking loans out on his personal businesses, going for broke. They don't win it all. Even they get $3 million, they're losing money. They're not going to make money. That's why it's World Series or bust. Even if you get to a World Series and you lose, they're going to lose money.
Yeah. Quickly, because before we get to Raleigh, I saw the Rockies. They're back home today. Well, Chris Bryant finally hit his first home run against the Pirates this series at Coors Field.
I'm not worried about the rock pile who's lost 5 in a row, and Chris Bryant, he's there because they've got a good school district. He likes the schools for his kids.
That was
he's
my
happy
campaign.
There. They can ski. They can hike in the summertime.
They can get Blue Moon at Coors Field, as we asked Johnny Dosco in spring training.
How did Johnny not know that?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, Johnny walks around here like he knows everything. How did he not know they don't brew Blue Moon at Coors Field?
Yeah, I mean, every average fan knows that.
And by the way,
I thought it was a layup.
Who puts fruit in their beer if it's not? I get a lime and a Corona. Anything else? You're putting a lemon wedge in a beer? What kind of grown man puts a lemon wedge in a beer?
I don't drink.
Johnny, down, right? No fruit in the beer, right? Lemon in it. We'll go lime in a Corona. Anything else? No. You can't put something in any.
Yeah.
You're going to put a lemon wedge in your beer?
Yeah. It's
kind of man. Like, I couldn't be friends with somebody like that.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to worry about it anymore. You don't have to worry about seeing people drink around you all.
Well, I can still have my sparkling water.
True, yeah.
Which I will put a lime in. I will. My sparkling water. And I'll put a lime in there. But back in my drinking days, no, I was not ever putting a lemon wedge in my beer.
Before we get to Raleigh, there was one overreaction because we won't have time. One overreaction. It leads into tonight. It's not baseball related, but
I want the Garrett Cole one.
The Sacramento Kings run Northern California now, huh? Overreaction or not?
Did you see how he walked out of the screen when he said that?
I got to get Raleigh ready.
Get Beck over here. Get back. I want you to say that. I want this on record.
Kings runs Northern California.
Kings run Northern California. How many games can you possibly play in the series?
7.
How many games have they played?
They played 1.
And you're already crowning the Sacramento Kings?
I think it's going to be a great series. But
No. You just said the Kings run Northern California, so you're saying the Kings. Yeah, look, he's saying the Kings run Northern California. Look at that. That you're seeing the reaction from the crowd here live.
They won.
Wow.
They won more playoff games more recently than the Warriors. Fact or fiction?
Wow. Wow. Huh. I
we got Klay Thompson over here with the 4 rings.
You want to put a, you know what? I'll spot you the first game. I'll spot you the first game. What do you want to put on the rest of the series? I'm spotting you one. Percentages say you win game 1, you win the series.
Is that what it is? I never really.
It's math. If you only need to win 4 games in 7 games and you knock off 1, you only have to win 3. The percentages highly are in your favor now that you'll win the series. What would you like to wager?
I'm not really sure, but the Warriors have won 11 road games all year, so they have to win in Sacramento first.
Okay.
So that's why I think the Kings win the series.
What do you want to put on it?
They're nothing.
You're godless.
We already have plenty of these food bets going. What's the new one, Seattle?
Yeah,
we're not.
Hey, how about my Mariners? My Mariners. Yeah, they're 8-8. I told you. Over 8. Prediction? You want overreaction Monday? Jared Kelnick will be better than King Griffey Jr. And J-Rod's contract will be one of the biggest flops of all time.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you heard it here.
Those are both overreactions.
Kelnick is the next great Mariner. Told you so.
And
you buried him last couple of years.
Well, he couldn't.
I've got numbers to back it up.
I read an article today from Jim Bowden. He thinks that Joe Adell could be the next Jared Kelnick. That's your guy, Joe Adell, the Angels.
Okay, Joe Adell stinks.
He's 8 home runs at AAA. And don't tell me it's because he plays in the PCL.
But you know what, though? If they offered him to the A's, I'd put him in our outfield right now and let him play. I would. Why not? Maybe, just maybe. I mean, isn't it amazing how long Joe Adell has been around, and yet
he's like 24 years old.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like I feel like he's almost as old as Trout. He's been around that long. When did Adele break in? When he was like 13? We've been watching Joe Adele like, here comes the superstar.
It was supposed to be him, Trout, and Brandon Marsh were supposed to be their outfield.
Brandon Marsh.
Marsh is now a Philly.
Joe Adele's only 24 years old.
I think he's 20.
What was his first? He was here in 18 or 19.
Someone look up Joe Adele's age. I think he's 24. Joadell.
That's a real tough one. It's not like I asked for Samardzija.
24.
He's 24. What year did he break in?
It was like 18.
1999. What time?
It's when he was born, 99.
No, when did he break into the big leagues? His first time. Has to be
2020.
2020?
That was 3 years ago.
It just feels like Joe Adele has been around forever. I mean, he's been the super prospect for a long time.
So is Brandon Marsh.
Interesting.
So,
you want to do your Garrett Cole real quick?
We're really pairing Rollie here.
Wait, we got time for Rollie.
Yeah.
It's 5:40.
Overreaction. Garrett Cole will win both the AL Cy Young and MVP. He's 4-0 with an ERA under 1. Oh, and he had a complete game. Sorry, he had a shutout the other day.
See, that technically isn't an overreaction because he plays in New York.
That's why I said it.
Right? I mean, like
Stanton's out again, by the way.
For like a month, right?
4 to 6.
Oh my God, my hamstring. How is a guy that's built like a Greek god cannot stay healthy?
Where is it? I wrote this down. Where is it?
Is it literally one of the most disappointing careers of all time? Mike Stanton, you call him Giancarlo, I call him Mike.
Since 2011, Stanton has been on the injured list in all but the 2014, 17, and 18 seasons, and this is his 5th straight season with some type of injury.
And he's built like a Greek god.
Oh, well, what's that expression? I'm not going to say it. There's that expression people throw out there. Plays like Tarzan. Looks like Tarzan.
We used to say it all the time on the Raider pregame show. Looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane. We used to say it all the time. I mean, I got to tell you, it's unbelievable. But that's not an overreaction. Garrett Cole, no question, could be a guy, if he has a great season, could be MVP.
I agree. That's why I put it on there.
Yeah. Because
you called me gutless for walking away.
He was no, I called you gutless for something else. Oh, the Warriors. You won't even bet on it. You're not even man enough to throw a bet. You're up 1-0 and you won't throw a bet on it.
I don't know why you're throwing me. I'm not from Sacramento.
Do you want me to? You already said you're a Kings fan.
Yep.
What do you got to be up 2-0 to make the bet?
There's no bet needed.
You're scared.
I'm talking about
you're scared. Light the beam. You're scared. You're not ready to light that beam, are you?
Game 2 is tonight, 7:00.
I can't wait. Warriors trounce them. And you know what? Is this the last? When was the game? Was it Saturday?
Saturday, yeah.
Was Saturday the last time they light the beam?
You think they win?
Draymond says they're coming all out. It's not Draymond's fault.
Yeah, they won 11 road games all year, so they do have a great streak, though. It's like they've won a road playoff game in like every year or something. Steve Kerr's never lost to a Western Conference team.
All right, Johnny D is waiting in the wings. I got to go do pregame. Yesterday, we end with a guy who's Cy Young Award winner, All-Star,
MVP,
3-time World Series champion, truly one of the greatest pitchers and arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest reliever. I know it's crazy. What about Mariano Rivera? Look at the numbers. Crunch the numbers. You can make a case for Rollie Fingers. He's at least top 3 all-time, no question. The mustache, the greatness, Rollie Fingers. Brady in the 1973 World Championship team. We're here with Oakland A's Hall of Famer, Baseball Hall of Famer, Rollie Fingers. You know, we talked last year, 1972, winning it for the first time. What's it like 1973, winning it the second time?
Twice as good. It was twice as good. Beating the Mets. They had a great pitching staff, and we had to face Matlack and Kuzman and Seaver, and we knew we had our hands full, but we handled it okay. Coming back here down 3-2 and winning the last 2 games here was big.
No doubt about it. And when you think about the difference of winning it one year to the next, winning it for the second time, the validation, I mean, not many teams will ever make it to 2 straight World Series. We know you'd win 3 in a row, putting only you and the Yankees doing that ever in baseball, but now you've won it 2 in a row.
It was very gratifying. And we knew that that's the only way we were really going to get some extra money for the winners. We had to win a World Series.
Yeah.
Because we weren't getting paid by Charlie. So.
And you guys never forget that. That's
No,
always funny. There was
it.
money involved here.
Oh, yeah.
These players now win the World Series, they don't care. Back then, yeah, you're playing for money at this point.
Well, we had, a lot of guys had to get winter jobs. And I went right straight from the parade to Sears and Roebuck's, and I was stocking shelves at Sears and Roebuck's all winter long. That was my winter job.
After winning the World Series.
Winning the World Series, yep.
Well, it's hard to believe, but yes, that is it. When you get together, and I've mentioned this now with Joe, Rudi, and Vida and Reggie, where I talk about how, it's just not you guys were teammates, you guys were like brothers. What's it like to still get together with these guys, reminisce about all the greatness?
It's a lot of fun. A lot of us came up through the minor leagues together. I mean, we were together for 7, 8, 9 years in a row.
Yeah, in Kansas City. Yeah.
So it was more like a family, and in families we have fights, you get in arguments, and we had a lot of them, but we got through it. But we all knew what to expect of each other out on the field, and we all came together as a team. Once we crossed the white line, don't have a different uniform on because we're going to beat you.
And what's it like getting together now with these guys?
Oh, it's great. See how many guys still have their hair, see how much weight they put on. So it's fun getting together and telling old stories.
And obviously you're still around the A's and part of our front office, but when you come back to the Coliseum, what are the memories like for you?
Oh, great. I mean, this was an old ballpark when I came here in '68, but we have a lot of memories on this field, especially the years that I played here. We never finished less than second place every year that I played here. So, and we 5 straight division titles. It's always fun when you win. And we had we dumped a lot of champagne in these clubhouses for sure.
No doubt about it. And just talk about the confidence that you guys had where you knew you were going to win. You knew you were going to get to the World Series.
Well, we had great talent. We had great pitching staff, great defense. We didn't make any mental errors out on the field. We always hit the cutoff man, went through the right bases. Dick Williams was a stickler for that. He didn't want you to screw up fundamentals out there. And we always played well. And, we didn't blow out a lot of teams. We won all the 3-1 ball games, 3-2 ball games. Those low-scoring games we usually won because of our pitching.
And still the story about the mustache, and still one of the greatest moves you ever made in your life.
Yeah, I have to cover up as much of his face as I can, so. But I got $300 out of Charlie. That was the only reason why.
$300 and you still got it to this day.
Still got it today.
And when you think about pitching in those times, obviously bullpens have changed. And, we've had you on before where I've told you we've run a lot of numbers and can make a case that you're arguably the greatest reliever of all time because of the volume. Just take us through back then. You could come in at any point and pitch X amount of innings and take it to the house. You just weren't a 1-inning guy.
No, I was throwing 3-4 innings. I mean, the first game of the World Series in '74, they told me to get up in the 5th inning, and I looked at the scoreboard just to make sure what inning it was. So I came in the 5th inning and pitched all the way to the 9th, and Catfish Hunter came in and got the last out. But I think I pitched 4 2/3 innings that day. So yeah, I was a 3-4 inning pitcher, so I didn't mind it. I loved the work. So
yeah, never shied away from a lot of innings, and of course, being the great reliever, you guys had such great starters. We just talked to Vida Blue. You think about Holtzman. You think about Catfish. Obviously, the starters that you had were second to none.
Oh yeah, they could all pitch. They knew what they were doing out there, and they always carry us late into the game, 7th, 8th innings. Catfish was our workhorse. If we ever needed one game to win, I'd hand the ball to Catfish. He was a big game pitcher.
And when you just think how great you guys were, you can't tell the history of baseball without talking about the 72, 73, 74 A's. That's got to mean something.
Oh yeah, three-peats are very, very few. So I think the Yankees and us were the only ones to do it. And you don't really think about it when you're doing it, but now that we look back, we look back and we had a great team. We played together and we knew how to win.
Well, it's so great to still have you a part of the Oakland A's family. Congratulations on 1973, and have fun with these guys. Have fun.
Oh yeah,
today.
we've been having a blast for the last 2 days. We're lying like crazy out here.
The Hall of Famer, the A's Hall of Famer, the great Rollie Fingers, right here on A's Cast Live.
Check. There you go. That was Rollie Fingers yesterday with Chris Townsend. over in Mount Davis. I don't get over there very often. So it's cool to be over there to catch up with Rollie and Vida.
That was a cool interview.
Reggie, yeah. And all the interviews are now available on YouTube, youtube.com/athletics to listen to and watch all the interviews we did yesterday with the guys from the 1973 team. Rough weekend against the Mets.
Yeah,
especially after Friday got a little better. But
I tell you that last game, 1 out, nobody on, Alonso at the plate. You had to. Even though it's Alonso, you had to feel good about at least capturing that final game, and it just wasn't to be. So that was a tough loss.
Yeah, and the polar bear hit a home run that I don't think still hasn't landed yet.
You know what? They had that at 431 feet.
That was way too short.
Even the home run he hit earlier, day earlier,
yeah,
they had
off the banner, the banner
421, which I thought that was further than the 421 as well. So
yeah, it's incredible to watch him. I heard Vince talking about how it's like watching batting practice with McGuire.
Yeah.
If you get there early to watch him swing,
miss it. Yeah.
I mean, he's been a great player for the Mets, a great home run hitter. Tough series. I think now the A's have 4 1-run losses. Only the Reds have now lost more and they have 5 1-run losses. So a lot of tough losses. The game on Friday, hopefully we don't ever have to talk about that game again.
Yeah.
17 walks, 2 hit batters. That skyrocketed the walks for the staff all the way to number 1 in baseball. So hopefully we see better pitching tonight. We saw better outings from Fuji and JP Sears.
Yeah.
Now Kyle Mahler's on the mound. Came over and said hi to Townie and I, and hopefully if he pitches well and they win tonight, every starting pitcher has come over and said hi to us because that's a good luck. You're looking for something, a superstition that you get things rolling. Like the one before, we took the helmet off the Mandalorian bobblehead of Kotze.
Yeah.
We said, hey, maybe this will help it. No. So
we're
looking for something.
He's pitched a couple of solid games. His last one wasn't the best of his 3, but he pitched 2 solid ones before that. So hopefully he comes out today and deals against the Cubs. So
yeah, I thought that he pitched. He had a bad inning against the Orioles, but he pitched one his first the opening night against the Angels. He looked good. Then he looked better in the second start. Rough one against the Orioles. So we'll see how he rebounds after that rough start tonight against the Cubs. Their lineup is pretty good. They're hitting like 390. I think it's 293 as a team.
Yeah.
Which Cody Bellinger's swinging a better bat, which I didn't think I'd say about 2023, but he's looking better. You got Patrick Wisdom's on a tear right now. Yep. Nico Horner, the local kid from Oakland, has 8 steals. The Cubs have a
bunch of
team.
Local guys, by the way. A bunch of local guys.
Yeah, Wisdom, St. Mary's. I mean, they got some guys, and then you got Hayden. Was it Wisniewski?
Wisniewski. But I'll tell you this: you talk about the bats, and they have been swinging a hot bat. But the key, I think, I wouldn't say surprise because the Cubs aren't really surprised. They thought they had a pretty good bullpen, but Mark Leiter Jr. is having a fantastic year. And the early part of the year, this bullpen has been really, really good. And that they have some pretty good starting pitching too. So there's they've won 8 of their first 14, and they could be an 85-86 win team.
Yeah, I think a lot of people had them pegging them to be a lot better. Seiya Suzuki is now coming off the injured list. I think he's 2 for 13 since he came off the injured list. But they have added some guys to the team. Marcus Stroman's pitched very well. Justin Steele, who's going to pitch Stroman tomorrow, Steele on Wednesday. Both have pitched very well this year for the Cubs. I follow the NL Central closely.
Yeah, of course you do.
Because
where are the Pirates right now?
They're 3rd. They're 8-6.
Got off to that great start.
Yeah, they lost 4 or 5.
Yeah.
The Uno Cruz injury really kind of devastated them. I mean, they're still playing well. I mean, they split the series in St. Louis, but the Cubs are in 2nd place right now in the Central, where the Brewers, a lot of people thought were going to take a step back. They still look pretty good, but the Cubs coming to town, maybe we'll go back to look at this.
Yeah.
First time the Cubs are here since 2016. It's only their 3rd trip ever to Oakland. They came in 2013, but prior to that. The Cubs have been in the postseason how many times in 134 years of their existence?
Yeah, you asked me that before, man.
The White Sox were way worse. They were at only 11 times.
Right. I would say what? 22?
Close. 21.
21. Okay.
134 years, 21 times the Cubs have been in the playoffs. Yeah. The A's have been playing in Oakland since 1968. How many times have they been in the postseason?
How many? What do you got?
The answer is 21.
Really?
With 4 World Series wins.
Right.
11 playoff appearances since 1997. That's the Billy Beane era. The Cubs have been in the playoffs in that same span, 9. So Cubs spent all that money. Doesn't mean you're going to win if you spend all that money. Yep. So the Cubs coming here, it's great. You're going to see a lot of people who aren't usually here because the Cubs are in town. But the Cubs they draw. They got some nice young talent, and it's going to be a good series. Hopefully the A's can start off on the right track because they've lost 4 straight, and I think it's 10 of 11. So hopefully they can get back on track tonight.
Yeah, just as Kotze was saying, just wants the team to be competitive. We want competitive games, and you've had that. You talk about all those one-run games, but you just want them to be competitive, and the effort's there. They just hopefully they can get on a little bit of a roll here. Get going.
Now I lost my train of thought where I was going with this, but hopefully, yeah. Are you concerned about Paul Blackburn? Paul Blackburn has a blister now on his finger. We're hoping he'd be back sooner than later to pitch in the rotation to help give the rotation some length. But now he has a blister. Are you concerned that his next starts and it could be in jeopardy? But
yeah, not until I know a little bit more about it. You'd like to have Blackburn back, obviously, but we don't know the extent. It could be a couple days. Might be. We don't know. We don't know.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So until we find out a little bit more about that and more information, then we'll see about that. But you need to get Rosinski back. You need to get Blackburn back. You need to get healthy. So.
I did like the debut of Richard Lovelady. He looked, for a guy that, who just joined the organization, gets called up. He pitched well in relief, and there's got to start. The bullpen needs to start limiting the walks. I mean, yesterday was a good game, and then the walks started coming later in the game. And Zach Jackson, uncharacteristically, was a little wild because he's been the best guy of the A's bullpen all year, and it has been close.
Yeah, I talked to Dick Lovelady, and he was talking about this field. He said, you see it on TV. You don't know, but he said this field is immaculate. It's beautiful. When he got on the field, he's like, wow, this is nice.
Yeah.
And, he pitched really well. That was good to see 2 innings for Dick Lovelady. He's got a good track record, and he's going to help this bullpen a lot. Yeah.
Hopefully Brent Rooker continues his hot streak.
Yes.
He's had a great last week plus. Shea Langoliers is swinging a good bat.
Yeah.
S.C. Ruiz has looked good.
Yes.
Ryan Noda gets on base like he's playing in the Moneyball movie.
Yeah.
That's all he does is get on base. So hopefully those are some positives. And the A's have 18 steals already this year.
I'm glad you brought that up because you and I talked about that off air about this team running. And you get Ruiz, all these guys. Noda can run. You got some guys that can move a little bit, can run. So
I was going to say the only guy on the team you're not expecting to run is Jesus Aguilar. I mean, it's okay, but everyone else. You can expect some, to maybe be aggressive on the base.
Langoliers has some speed. He can run.
Yeah, we joked them in spring training. We were expecting a 30-30 year out of you. I mean, you got some power. The stolen bases aren't there yet. Still early.
Yeah.
But hopefully we see some stills out of him, and they have 18. I think it's third most in the American League.
Yeah.
So the record might not be there, but the stolen bases are there. The excitement's there on the base pass.
Yeah, the success rate, right?
And
throughout the entire
83% right
Major
now.
League Baseball. It's incredible. Yeah.
It's like 347 out of 420 or so. There's like
I
went back and looked and did the math. It's incredible what the success rate is on stolen bases. Feel bad for catchers because they're not throwing anybody out now. Or you got a good defensive catcher like Shea Langoliers. Francisco Alvarez from the Mets is supposed to be a highly touted guy. He couldn't throw anyone out.
Some of these leads, Cody, they're taking are unbelievable.
Yeah.
Especially, obviously you get the 2 disengagements, then you can go. But some of those leads after the 2 disengagements are incredible. I'm surprised. Why wouldn't you go? I mean, you're going to see more pitch outs too, but I'm surprised you don't see more guys go after the 2 disengagements.
Plus, the pitchers are slower to the plate. Some of the guys are probably slower to plate. They're trying to figure out the whole timing with the pitch clock. Tonight, 2 teams that like to run. Cubs are right ahead of the A's, and they have 19. So hopefully we see some running. But that's going to do it for A's Cast Live. We want to thank Joe Rudi, Vida Blue. We had Brent Rooker on after batting practice. He was great, by the way. Great interview. The Hall of Famer, Reggie Jackson, and the great Rollie Fingers, also Hall of Famer. Chris Townsend's coming up with A's Total Access in, what time is it? In moments, 4 minutes. For myself, Chris Townsend, and Johnny Dosco. We'll see you here tomorrow on A's Cast Live starting at 4 o'clock against the Cubs. A's Total Access coming up in 4 minutes.
This is Chris Townsend. There are 2 things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered